Hello. Today, I'm going to be taking you through AEO Visibility and why investing in AI search is no longer optional. Firstly, search has evolved. If you're as old as I am, you will remember typing in a query into Google and it would return 10 blue links. Through these links, users could click through to your site, and then you would measure organic traffic, clicks, click-through rate, whatever you deemed relevant to your business. Now, things have changed quite a bit. We are greeted with AI-generated answers. So now, a user will type a question into an LLM, the AI will synthesize a single answer, and it may cite 3 to 5 sources or even none. Now, this is important because there's potentially no click, no traffic, and the user has conducted their research. Now, I want to make it known that Google isn't going anywhere, but it's no longer the only place your customers are looking. And the brands that evolve now are the ones that will win on both fronts. Just a couple of stats to highlight the points. So around 37% of active AI users start their search with AI before they even look at Google. Moreover, 1 in 4 customers already turn to AI-powered platforms as their primary source. And finally, 95% of ChatGPT users still use Google, but they use them both, not switching. We have around 800 million weekly active users on ChatGPT, with around 2.5 billion daily prompts. It's quite a few. ChatGPT AI market share shifts between 60 and 80%. And as mentioned, 37% of AI users start their search with AI before Google. So what is AEO? Perhaps you've heard the term AEO, GEO. They stand for Answer Engine Optimization and Generative Engine Optimization. They pretty much mean the same thing. The term sort of gets thrown around interchangeably. So AEO is the discipline of structuring and presenting your brand, content, and technical signals so that your business is cited and mentioned accurately. I want to make it known that SEO ranks your page, AEO ranks your brand inside the answer. So if we take a look at what this would mean between the disciplines. So SEO, the goal was always to rank highly on SERPs. As we sort of briefly touched upon, the success metrics were clicks, organic traffic, click-through rate, overall keywords, page 1 keywords, top 3. Again, whatever you deemed valuable to your business. And where you would surface Google, Bing, Ecosia, Yahoo, and all the others. Now, with AEO, the goal is to be cited, mentioned, or both inside the answer. The success metrics for this could be mentions, sentiment, share of voice, and citations. The holy grail would be to be mentioned inside the answer and also cited. Where we would be surfaced for this would be ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, AI overviews, and so on. It's worth knowing as well that even if you rank really high in ChatGPT, that does not necessarily translate over to Perplexity, Claude, and so on. They all have different nuances and they all have different ways of ranking a site within the LLMs. So the next wave is pretty much already here. You know, the Google era, this was 98 to 2022. This was the golden standard of search. You would type a query, click a result, decide for yourself. Then we got the introduction of these answer engines from 2022 to 25. We would ask a question, read the answer, and potentially have a few sources cited. Now, I believe we are very much in the agent era, the agentic era. We delegate a task, the agent browses, compares, decides, and ultimately buys, acting for the user. To really hammer this home, the agents aren't coming, they are already shopping. So at the start of the year, Shopify made agentic storefronts available to around 5.6 million merchants. So this meant products became discoverable inside ChatGPT, Copilot, AI Mode, and Gemini. OpenAI's ChatGPT ad pilot crossed 100 million revenue in just 6 weeks. So this really shows the appetite that AI search is monetizing fast. At the start of the year in Q1, Gemini shopping agent will accept payments. You can do comparison shop, build shopping lists, and so on. And finally, 45% of shoppers say they're at least somewhat comfortable with an AI agent making the purchase on their behalf. So what this all means is when the agent decides what to buy, the brands the agent can read and the brands the agent recommends are the ones that are going to win this war. Now, to really hammer this home, the brands cited today are training the models of tomorrow. The citation is very reasonable to think that the citations that are being shown now will be used for the training data in the future. And I very much believe citation share compounds. If you're being cited, your brand is discoverable, you're building a fantastic website, it's great for both users and bots. Surely there's going to be some sort of ranking algorithm like we see with Google where a site is favored. It's very reasonable to think if your site is being cited, then you're going to be shown more. And finally, if your brand is locked out of being discovered today, it's a very reasonable assumption to think that you're going to be missed from the training data of the next model. So if you use anything like Cloudflare and you've got it set up to block your bots, that's definitely something to investigate as soon as. And it's worth noting that at the moment, while the ads are still being tested, visibility in AI search cannot be bought back once it's lost. So what this all means, from guessing to knowing. So if you were to investigate this yourself, without the help of a specialist tool or a specialist agency such as Remarkable, you might just be spot checking ChatGPT or LLMs manually. You might be pulling a few screenshots together in a slide deck, coming in with the assumption, I think we're doing okay. No real idea or understanding of what's going on in the landscape. Now, however, if you were to work with Remarkable and invest in an AI tool, what the benefits you would gain would be continuous tracking across every major AI engine or ones that you care about, real share of voice against named competitors, every citation gap scored for impact. Now, as an example of this, if we notice your brand is absent from a Reddit discussion, we're going to let you know about that. We will highlight technical blockers stopping AI from reading you and your content, whether that's something as simple as opening up your robots.txt or investigating your JavaScript code. And what this all means on a day-to-day, monthly workflow is that we would sit down together every month, work through the action list and decide what's relevant for your brand and what's not. And the most important takeaway of this is that it's evidence-based. We will be using enterprise tools, bringing our own knowledge, and of course, bringing our fantastic SEO foundations. So most brands know AI search matters. However, almost none of them can tell you where they stand or what to do about it. That's the gap we close if you choose to work with Remarkable. Thank you. Thank you for your time. I hope you got something from this. Please reach out if you're interested. Thank you.